everyone, Bitcoin here from
the Big Jabowski.
This round I'm up against Baron Branislav from the guild House Divided LB. He has a relatively low arena rank, even though he does have a strong General Skywalker team. His lifetime score is nothing particularly mind-blowing. His roster, I was actually a bit surprised because at first look it felt like I had more relics than he does. But because he added Finn and Resistance Trooper here, I guess that adds quite a lot of GP. And I ran a quick comparison and we actually have identical relic levels. So he's just added a lot of relic 5s to some characters that I haven't, or has a Jailbird Alpha here, etc. So actually a fairly even match in that regard. In terms of mods, I have a pretty clear advantage, I believe. Not too much, but there is definitely an advantage there. On some characters anyways. So what's interesting about this opponent is that he likes to go rather defense heavy, which I haven't faced a whole lot recently. So that is nice to see. I think he has almost as many defensive holds as I have. One a fair bit less, so that really signals that he's someone who likes to go defense heavy, but he usually uses the exact same strategy, which he did this time around as well. So what he set on his defense is, as you can see, he hasn't attacked. What he set on his defense is a Padme team, his Bounty Hunters, his Night Sisters under Talzin lead. And then down here he has set his General Grievous and his General Skywalker team. So he pretty much always sets the same. And as a result, I figured I'd try out some different things myself. Mostly up against Padme, I want to try something different, but it depends on how well I do up against General Skywalker first, because if that doesn't work out, then I'm going to need a couple more characters for my cleanup. So my defense is actually relatively light. I have my General Skywalker here, a Karth team over here, and then up top, Grievous BB-8 and Night Sisters, this time with Talzin lead, because he likes to use Geos up against Night Sisters, so I'd like to give him a little bit of trouble there, and some stress perhaps. But he has a pretty good Geo team, so I think he should be able to clear it, but maybe he'll lose some characters if Spirit does some good work. All depends on how things work out though. And then my own Geos on defense, in case he wants to try to use his Traya up against my Night Sisters, I want to prevent him from doing that. So then behind that, if he does break through, I put my Negotiator on defense this time, because he pretty much always puts his Millennium Falcon on defense, and I thought that would be a little bit more interesting. This can give him some challenge in fleets, and I'll just have to get started and see how I do. So I do not expect him to beat General Skywalker, because his only option is his Darth Revan team, and it's just not strong enough to be able to do it, though I did recently have an opponent with a full Relic 7 Darth Revan team, who blasted through it no problem. So maybe I'll have to eat my words there, but I don't think he'll be able to break through, and thus the match becomes very dependent on, do I manage to get through his General Skywalker or not? If I do, then the pressure's off for me and I should be alright. But if I don't, then it might end up becoming a banner match, which could be pretty tricky. So I'm going to get started with the trickiest fight first. Now his modding on his General Skywalker is not so good. He's very fast, but speed sets are not really how you would want to build this guy. He doesn't have a whole lot of offense. And even crit chance on the triangle, which is probably the most useless stat for him, considering he gets 100% crit chance from one of his uniques, I believe. But he probably just did that purely for speed. And then his Rex, no 6-dot mods at all. So 281 speed could actually be outsped probably by a bunch of Darth Revans. No 5s in the 5th slot, but definitely not to be underestimated. It all depends on how the opener goes with my Padme team. So let's try that first and see how it goes. And hopefully things work out. But this General Skywalker is so fast that he actually starts before Rex. That's one thing I just completely overlooked, even though I was looking through all of the speeds. It's something you pretty much never expect. So that's actually a very interesting opening that I have never fought before. And definitely the reason why he did it this way. Or maybe it's just, a random choice. He just figures the new meta character needs to be super fast. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so far nothing has happened yet, besides me wasting time and him getting a lot of offense. Now one of the next specials, yeah, this one from Jedi Knight Anakin, should strip off all of his protection. And then I can start working on 5s. Hopefully I'm going to get, there we go, 24 stacks. That almost got the job done. Always the tricky hit there from Echo. That's always the risky one. But I managed to survive it just fine. Now Echo is currently not a problem for a little bit. I think I'll save the kick because I'm going to need it. But I should have a look here at the turn meter. Or rather the protection left that he needs to regenerate. My R2 is still going to get a turn. So I think he will be able to finish off Rex. So I'm going to go for Rex first in this case. Yeah, he's got 18 stacks here. That should be good. And maybe I can still get someone to damage Echo for a little bit. I would have liked to get a cleanse from Padme here, but that's not going to happen. So chances are that General Skywalker here comes out of his topple and kills a few of my characters. And in that scenario, I would rather have Echo out of here rather than have Retribution. Retribution's nice, but I don't think it's going to matter much if I'm dead. Yeah, I'm going to kill Echo here. Okay, no AoE from him. That's actually pretty dang lucky. And now hopefully I land a stun. Nope, he resisted. He does still have some tenacity from Arc being here. But no protection up for me whatsoever. So the AoE is going to come in now. And that's going to take out a couple characters. Unless this is a magical stun. Oh. Yeah, that's... Oof, that's a lot worse than I thought it would be even. And I lose my Padme momentarily probably, unless she's going to get a heal here before she gets shot out. Oof, so close. Okay, so I'm still able to pick off Arc here, which is good, because that makes the cleanup substantially easier. Well, I'm saying I'll be able to pick him off, but so far not too much has happened. Wow, so close. Yeah, ideally I would cleanse. Actually, the cleanse will make Ahsoka assist. And that should be a kill. But it's not like I'm going to survive these hits here. But I can still strip his protection. That was the goal there. And I accomplished that goal. So, got pretty far. Not as far as I would have liked, though. So I have to figure out what I want to do there. I had a different plan against his Padme, but it looks like I may not be able to do that, because I would really like to use my Thrawn up against the General Skywalker here to ensure that I can get the clear. Using CLS could also be nice, but if there is no Thrawn to control him, then that might not end up going very well. So for now, I think I'll just fight the Grievous team with my Jedi Knight Revan, because it's a standard Grievous, nothing too special about it, I think. Yeah, speed pretty normal. Should check the B1. It's modded for offense and pretty fast. Right, so I'll go up against that one first and then re-evaluate what I want to do with the other one. So, but still elite. Make sure I don't mix up my Yodas. I've had reports from people accidentally making that mistake. But still it feels a little slow. Jedi Knight Revan here is about to take another turn before I even get to B2. Now there's no real reason for me to use a direct focus because Magna Guard isn't going to taunt anytime soon. He never countered. So I'm just going to stick with my basics here. Then get the kill this way and save the direct focus to pretty much directly go for Grievous, which is very nice. It almost never gets to that point. So Magna Guard will be able to taunt here in a moment. Which is a pity, but yeah, that's what it is. So I'm not going to AoE here because I don't really see the benefit in doing it right now. I'll save it. I'll do it now. That of course puts up a mark, but that's okay because B1 is about to heal. And then I can go for Magna Guard and actually now use a direct focus. Perfect. Everyone still has their buffs as well, so they'll be hitting Grievous a bit harder. Though no crits for me. Don't even really need to heal here. I'll save it for a little bit longer. I'll save the dispel as well. I think I'll need it. And this should be the kill. Close. Well, everyone's looking pretty good. Drop the stacks on B1 a little more and gain some more turns still. Now I just want to pay attention to using Hermit Yoda's heal at the right time. I might already use it now though. Droideka's about to strip some health and protection as is B1. I'll save it for one more round and try to time it a little better. Especially because Yoda is not looking too great actually. That should be him dead. Okay, I will go for a stun now. Didn't land it unfortunately. So I hope everyone else is having a great Grand Arena. Mine is going fabulous, as you can see. Maybe that was a little bit early there. The kill, I mean. I'll have to pay close attention to their protection here. Do I want to do a group attack here? Probably not yet. I definitely want Hermit Yoda to still take a turn, so. He should be taking a turn now. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get anyone anywhere. So I'll just finish it off. That should be 58. 59 actually. I'm not sure who was still full there, but I'll take it. Okay, nice. So this opponent, he has typically waited every single one of his opponents out. I personally don't really care. But he will probably start attacking soon after I am done or after he has an idea of whether I beat his strongest two teams. So now before going in on General Skywalker, I actually think I want to use my Darth Revan here. So the initial plan that I had was to use Emperor Palpatine, Darth Revan, Bastilla Fallen, Thrawn and Nihilus, because this is a combination that one of his former opponents used and they managed to get 60 banners with it. So I was actually curious about trying this out myself because I had never used that before, and the nice part of it is that it frees up Malak to be able to solo some other team, which he will probably have options for in his back zone. So that would have been pretty nice, but considering I now have to clean up General Skywalker, I don't really want to leave Thrawn out anymore. He just offers so much security in cleaning this up, and I don't really have nice other options to do it. Unless I want to start messing around with my IPD, which I don't really want to do, considering he has practically no health and protection. So instead, I'll just be using straight up Darth Revan against this team, I suppose, and then save Thrawn for the cleanup there, and then I'll still have Traya to do something else if needed. So that's probably my course of action then, and then over here against the Night Sister team I can use Bounty Hunters What, and up against the Bounty Hunters now I do not have CLS. My Rage Jedi training is kind of in shambles, so what I'll likely end up doing here is actually using Traya up against these guys, unless I'm overlooking some kind of team that I have. I also still have Geos actually. No wait, I don't. I put those on defense, my bad. And there's still Emperor Palpatine, which I could also use, but then I run the risk of not landing enough debuffs, but I am certainly faster, so it's an option. So with that in mind, I'll go up against the Padme team. Now his Padme is, I believe, pretty fast, yeah, 291. Now she should always start with the kick, so I should be okay with Darth Revan. I'm not a huge fan of these matches, but I'll go with it this time. It's just not ideal. You lose a lot of banners. If things don't really work out with all the debuffs, then you're left with Malak in the end trying to solo the entire team. And with C-3PO there, they get to put all of the confuse, they get all the cooldown reductions, so it's really messy, and that's not a point I want to get to. So what a lot of people do in the beginning is they use Insanity with Darth Revan to fear the entire team, but that puts some buffs up on them and stops you from dealing out all of the shocks, handing those out. So I will just be starting with the Force Storm ability to get all the shocks in there, and Padme shouldn't cleanse normally seen, unless that is on the field. So I'll start with that. Okay, I landed the shocks on the most important characters. Now I try to fear Jedi Knight Anakin, which did land, that's also good. And I think I will probably... I'll probably shock Kenobi here, because Kenobi needs to get his stagger hit. Or rather stun, so that he doesn't cleanse the entire team. But in this case it got removed. Okay, this is looking fine. Now he's taunting, and then she immediately takes the bonus turn. That was... yeah, this is always a scenario I get really annoyed about. If you don't quite do enough damage. Let's see, what do I want to do here? I'll just stay focused on Kenobi. But this is going to be messy. I won't be able to get through this cleanly. Hopefully just get through it at all. About to lose a couple characters. Now ideally here I dispel, but I think I should probably drain to try to start getting my Malak somewhere. I mean, the Jedi Knight Anakin here is going to start picking off a couple characters momentarily, so I need to try to get over to him. But pretty much everyone here has bonus protection, so even my Force Storm does absolutely nothing. I can get a double hit in on C-3PO, but I won't be able to get him down or even reduce his stuff too much, so I'll just keep focusing on GK. This won't really do much, though I can... no, I thought I could still fear him. That's a bit dumb. I could actually drain out C-3PO here. I can't tell... yeah, he has a little bit of protection, so that won't be a kill. It will trigger Padme. I'd rather go for GK. He's just so much more important. But this is not going well at all. Yeah, shitty match. Let's see. Protection up. There's still a bit of protection up. I need to get the kill on GK. Wow, I am absolutely throwing this battle by trying to do something very specific. It's probably just safer to go for sort of a generic approach and not risk losing matches like this. Let's see, I want to go for Padme here. My laptop's lagging a fair bit. Okay, I can drain her out, but I would rather go for Jedi Knight Anakin because he's the one who puts the healing immunity. Though I guess her not handing out any courage is also nice. Wow, getting dangerously close to dying here. Now I should be able to heal up, if even a little bit. And end up at 40, what is that, 47 if I get to full health. Yeah. So that didn't go the way I would have liked. 48 actually. Interesting. Oh yeah, 45 is obviously the max if you don't have anyone left. So that was super messy, but I got through his team. Not really the way you're supposed to play it. I'm going to review that and have another look at what exactly went wrong there. It's like an order of operations thing I'm just not understanding properly, I think. And it's been a while since I've done these matches, so... let's do CLS here then, together with Thrawn. I could do something else. Trying to think here, if I could save my CLS up against the Bounty Hunter team, that would be very nice. but I need to have enough firepower to take him down in a single sort of cycle of fracture. So let me take a look here. He has 70k health and he has, what is that, 20k protection, something like that, 30. He doesn't have any boost from the unique anymore. It's probably like 30 or 40k. So he has over 100k left still. And that's quite a bit now. In the past, the cleanup that I've liked to use is Newt Lead together with Dooku. My Dooku is obviously not at the top. But I can go over this, but the damage is not there. That's the issue. So I won't be using this cleanup now. I like to use, with Dooku, Ray Scavenger, Thrawn, and then a 5th damage dealer, but they just don't have the damage required for me to burn through this. Out of turn attacks are also not so great because they can't crit. So I'm just not going to mess around here. I'll use my CLS and then I can always use Traya up against their team. Yeah, it's a pity. I really wanted to try out the Emperor Palpatine team because trying to get 60 banners up there and then saving Malak for a solo of some team in the back would have been pretty nice. I was actually looking forward to trying that out, but I didn't want to risk it here. Because if I send in just these 3 guys, I mean a gear 12, it's like 2 hits for CLS to counter one of these guys out, so Han's opener would pretty much already kill you. But he might go first though, so we'll see how this one starts out. Because it's a very fast General Skywalker. Well, I mean Han shoots, but does he go after this? Okay, he doesn't. I'm going to need my Thrawn to throw the fracture in there. Could have. That's the thing, right? Like now my CLS got to go, but if Skywalker would have gone before CLS, because my CLS is not too fast, then I would have been in trouble there. Because he would have reduced the turn meter and I wouldn't have been able to control him as much. So now I end up fine, but maybe I can get CLS to take. No, of course not. Okay, so that's okay. And in the back, he has indeed what he has said every other time. So this Phoenix team here, this time he actually did something crazy. He put his Ezra in. So that's very exciting for me, I guess. And First Order over here. So I'll probably nest this one. And I can use my messed up Ray Jedi training over here, perhaps. I'll see what exactly I want to do. So it could still, if he manages to break through my General Skywalker some way, it could still end up being a banner match. So I'll try to be as efficient as possible. But I don't think he will be able to. So Talzin lead is a little bit different with bounty hunters, because the plague persists substantially more and has a much higher chance of killing off your what, so you always lose some more banners. And you're really dependent on making sure you get the kills with Boba or with Bosk. Boba or Jango, so that they don't keep reviving. So weapon tech up on Boba. There's no reason to do the group attack yet because there's no plague on the field. And I don't want to lose my taunt here. Now, if I land an ability block, which I do, then I can stop the main source of plague for a little bit. Because it lasts for 2 turns. Now, it would be super tempting to use the execute here because you see a bunch of debuffs and you just want to hit hard. But never do this. It's such a bad idea to use it prematurely. You have to make sure that that first execute is a kill, because if it's not, then the match can turn around really quickly. Now you do have Watt here, which is a huge safeguard for keeping Bosk taunting. Actually, I said earlier that I didn't want to lose my taunt, but that's what Watt is here for. But in the scenario that you don't bring Watt and it's just bounty hunters, really make sure that you do not make that mistake where you execute too early, because that execute is pretty much what makes or breaks the match. And now if I get an execute, I'll be able to kill Talzin, but perhaps this, nah, it doesn't get the job done. But this one, I mean, with 9 debuffs on there, it's a guaranteed kill, and once Talzin is gone, then a lot of their plague damage is mitigated because she's not going to basic and hit everyone. All of the specials will still add plague, but the moment she is gone, you have pretty much secured your win. Even if it's a spirit that can hit high, you can easily strip off her foresight every now and then with a couple of hits. If I drop Asajj's health low enough here, nah, she is relicked, so that's not so easy. You can always try to get the dots, the thermal detonators, and the burn to collectively make her die, and then zombies revive isn't triggered, but in this case, since it's Talzin lead, she would still be called from the grave anyway. So, but yeah, just trying to, you know, go over a couple mechanics, a couple things that you can do if you don't bring Watt to make this fight easier. I still haven't triggered my contract, actually. That is also something that you can focus on if you have some hits in between like these. Because once you have the contract, you're in a really good spot as well. Now, Spirit's really squishy, so just 2 buffs on here is enough for... This is a Gear 12 Boba. He has some offense mods, but nothing crazy. It's enough for him to be able to get that execute in. And now Zombie's going to taunt one more time. But this basic here, because he has the weapon tech... okay, it was a dodge. Well, Django does the job then. So yeah, I brought Watt here just because they have substantially more relics than me. I like to use my bounty hunters without Watt up until, let's say, like relic 4 Asajj if she's the only one relicked. But in any other scenario, I try to bring Watt, or I figure out some other counter, because it becomes a little bit too dicey and you don't really have a whole lot of backup plans in Grand Arena. Right, so that leaves Bosk, and then in the back of these teams, I think it makes a whole lot of sense for me to use my Treya over here. I could even use EP lead Treya here, but I do also still have EP, just realized, up against First Order. It's not really a nice team, because they heal so much from all of the debuffs. Bringing Nihilus would obviously solve that, but I kind of need Nihilus to be able to get through a Bosk team. So I'm not going to mix those teams up. It's not really a great idea. So I'll just go with Treya, Sion, and... Although I'm thinking... If I bring my old Ben here, if I would be able to control them properly... They're still reasonably fast. But other than... I mean, Dengar is going to throw out his mines and cost me a lot of banners. And I don't have Thrawn to recover any. So that would be a little bit messy. But for the rest, I should be able to stay in control of the fight. So it's Dengar to worry about. But for the rest, I mean, it's not a whole lot of issue. I can also use Rey Jedi training up against the bounty hunters together with... Let's say Finn, Resistance Trooper, C-3PO. I'll probably do that. It's not a strong First Order team. So in that case, I will use EP here. I can throw in just a Triumvirate, I guess. And go like this. I'll still get countered all the same, probably. One thing I could try to do, since I'm faster, is not start with the Force Crush. I know it's really tempting, but if you don't start with it, then Treya could isolate Dengar, reduce his cooldowns, prevent him from ever hitting me too much. Though Sion also kind of needs to get off an AoE. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how can you still do this fight without them costing you banners? But I think the chances of controlling the entire team and preventing them from doing any AoEs is just a little bit too difficult. If Sion gives them all pain, then I can obviously focus all the damage on him, but they do still have AoEs. So Nihilus would need to go before them. Right, let's give that a shot. Let's see how far I can get. Put these guys in. Just for science sake, I suppose. So Force Crush, that's going to make Dengar get his tenacity up. Let's hit you. Now I can dispel the tenacity up, but he should be... Okay, that's good. Now I think I'll probably just isolate Bosk. I could do Dengar here, but if I then don't land a stun on Bosk, then I'm actually in trouble. And I'm not too interested in being in trouble. I'd rather try to land a stun here. Okay, none. But I am reducing the cooldowns. Did Cat just dodge that, or is my laptop just laggy? No idea. Let's ability block him. Now, as long as they focus all of the attacks on my Scion, I'm good. Oh wow, that was a very laggy kill. I would really like to try to stop Django from taking a turn, and Boba as well, but kind of racing against time here. That should kill. Okay, good. Yeah, you got the hit. Dang. That's some banners dropped, although Vader could still pass as being full. And Traya as well. But I don't think I'll be able to stop all of their attacks. We'll see though. Yeah, that's not really a buff I can do anything with. Okay, let's hope this is an ability block. Good. Though he is not currently going to focus on Scion. Well, Palpatine was already below max anyways, so that's okay. Now I will be annihilating Dengar. Although Boba is also very tempting, but Dengar here, the moment he throws out his mines, I am kind of done for. And Boba at least has an ability block, so I can preserve a couple banners. Let's try and get a stun. And then I'm thinking I should, for the most part, be okay here. Oh yeah, I just moved the isolate. That is absolutely not smart. Because a shock does not stop Bosk from taunting, but this does. Okay, let's use this, and then I should be able to top up my protection. It's tempting to do it now, but he's still going to get a hit from both of these, so I'm not going to do it. Ah yeah, of course. Oh, that's actually interesting. I didn't know if Boba would be able to circumvent the taunt with his ability because of the pain, but it looks like his unique takes precedent there, which is good to know as well. It's kind of what I expected, I suppose, but just hadn't encountered it before. There we go. Not often that you get to kill Bosk with Nihilus's basic. He should be reviving here still. No, it's the isolate, right? So 59, that's actually decent. I was trying to get to 60, but that's just a little bit too tricky if they attack EP and he has no way to recover. So what did he do on defense? Indeed, his rebel fleet. So we'll deal with that in a minute. First go over here. I'll be using Nest to solo these, and then like I said, Rage Jedi training over there. I should probably check if there is any progress on feats. If my game is willing to load. Doesn't look like it. Oh, I should probably not forget about this one. Fleet arena battles. Yeah, I've made a little bit of progress there. Good. Do this one first. So I recently posted the start of my Grand Arena strategy series. So far the feedback has been really nice. Been quite happy to hear all of that. People seem to be liking it, saying that there's not much out there that's similar to what I'm trying to do. So that's pretty encouraging, and it's nice to be able to help people out, even though I'm certainly not the best Grand Arena player out there. by any stretch of the imagination. It's nice to be able to help people improve, even if they're a little bit better than they are before, then that's good enough. And yeah, it's just nice to be able to contribute to a community of content creators that's been, you know, making a lot of stuff in their spare time. There's so many of these YouTubers that just make loads of really good videos but don't get watched a whole lot, and it's nice to be able to also provide them some stuff back in some way, and to provide the community some things, because they can be so frustrated with CG's lack of understanding and communication, and it doesn't need to be that way. We can make it nicer ourselves, I guess. So then the First Order fight. Oh, I'm gonna do a Millennium Falcon mirror. I haven't done that in forever. That's been a while. Okay, Rage out of training, C-3PO, Finn. I could bring my own Kylo Ren unmasked. I've done that occasionally because it's nice for the stuns and stuff, but I think Old Ben, although he heals them quite a bit. There's no BB-8, so no reason to bring T3 really. He just heals them a lot as well. What's nice here? Rey Scavenger is actually kind of nice because she does not debuff. I just don't have as much control on the team. But I think I'll be going with this. I could also consider L3. Just make L3 take pretty much all of the hits. And that would allow me to reduce losing banners if I focus on Kylo Ren unmasked first. Because there's no other AoE in the team. I think I might actually try that. Again, little experiment. Totally insignificant in the entire match. But if you're looking to optimize banners against people and you don't have all of your options available anymore, then these can end up being the kind of things that can help you out. I just have to make sure that L3 doesn't lose all protection. I don't know how far that's going to go. I do want to undersize this, kind of. Although I'm already pretty far into the undersized feat, so there's not really a good reason to do that. So let's go like this. I do really need the damage in there, because if I don't land a stun on their Kylo Ren, he's actually a fair bit faster. I didn't even check the modding, so he's going to get an AoE in for sure, no matter what I was going to do here. Finn will be able to recover some of their protection, obviously. But I'm not counting on any miracles there. So going for him now is not so ideal before I manage to mind trick him. I don't have that third Zeta, so that's biting me here. And I'll just go for this guy first. And use the cleanse here, actually. So right now I want to stop him from taunting. And I have enough offense here to be able to kill this guy. It won't be long until I might have a Relic 7 Rey Scavenger. That's going to be odd. That's going to be very odd. Let's call in Rey Scavenger here. Yeah, there's too much damage on one character here to be able to recover all of that. That's a pity. But that's the risk of using the cleanse early, I guess. I thought I would have a little more control, but the stun also came in on Finn at an annoying time, so... anyway, where was I? Let's take him down. Haven't been able to control Kylo Ren yet. And that's sort of what I had in mind with my game plan going in. Now I would like to try to land a stun. Okay, there we go, that's good. Let's start controlling this dude. And hopefully stop him from taking any turns at all, so that I can recover all of my protection banners. That would be great. I don't even need to put the healing immunity just yet. As long as I can just control him, try to get a lot of hits in here. Then he just stacks a lot of defense. Don't want to do the special here. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's just too low. Ah, yeah, it was just a Gear 9 guy. Alright, so that didn't really work out. I could have gone with less characters to get the same result and get a point on the undersize feat, but that's fine. The Akbar mirror match. Now the nice thing for me is that, I mean, I could go with my Malevolence, but it's not quite ready. It wasn't ready yet at the start of this week. Now it is, because I leveled up my Hyena Bomber. But I get to use my Houndstooth. He does not. Because I have my Negotiator without the Houndstooth on defense, which I do hope he reaches, because I would like to see how it does for him. He's used to fighting weaker fleets on defense, so that could be interesting. Not quite sure. How much GP does he have on his fleet? 377k. It can be tricky to try to guess how many ships you're supposed to bring, and I'd rather play it safe and get a few less banners for going in with full reinforcements than be greedy and stupid and lose some banners because you have to go in for a cleanup. Like, lose a lot more banners essentially. What's happening here? Wow. Beautiful ship, but I'm not bringing you, sir. Ghost and throw in nobody else. If these guys don't do the job, then so be it. So I'm going to go for their bigs first. He's got the faster Falcon. I don't believe that he had relics or anything, so he might just have more 6-dot mods, which wouldn't surprise me because I don't really have a whole lot on those characters. Okay. Like, at this point you're always thinking, oh yeah, why did I bring those reinforcements? What a waste. But it's not necessarily a waste. I mean, if these would have been hits, I would have been in an amazing spot. But since they weren't, he might get to call in someone and actually still kick my ass. Nah, I got the double assist there and managed to get the kill. So that's 64, that's fine. I mean, if I would have left out 2 ships, it's whatever. So 1903 for me, not an amazing score, but I lost 20 there on the General Skywalker. Otherwise it would have been a lot more comfortable, but I mean, yeah, General Skywalker over here, it's going to be pretty tricky for him. So I'll show you the score in the end if he attacks, probably sometime soon, and then I'll let you know how it went. So my opponent attacked. He certainly took his time. Looks like he managed to take out half of the map and 2-shot my General Skywalker team. So he must have used his Darth Revan there initially to burn through 5s probably, and maybe 1 or 2 other characters, and then cleaned it up with something else. And in the back there I didn't have anything particularly strong, allowed him to get some undersize. Battle's done, I guess. And up top here, I did think he would actually break through this zone and get to fleets. But he failed on the Grievous team because he didn't really have any good options left, I guess, depending on how strong the Skywalker cleanup had to be. And then the Night Sisters held probably up against his Geos because of Mother Talzin lead and the general high speed across the team. So that's pretty good, and yeah, not really a challenging win, but then again I felt like he was slightly outmatched because of those resistance relics that he already put on. So another reminder to not do that. I had a pretty interesting match either way. That Darth Revan up against Padme is really something I need to look into a bit more and perhaps practice a little bit, but for the rest it was just fine. So yeah, that was it for this week. Looking forward to the next one when my Malevolence fleet is a bit up to speed. I don't really expect to make any other changes, but it should be a bunch of interesting matches again. So hope to see you then.